All right. Um, I think the inspirations, the most important thing is keeping promises and being grateful. Actually, sentence, keeping promises and being grateful, this is the motto of my academy. I think a teacher should be a good model for their students. I'm not saying that I should be perfect, but at least I have to develop myself continuously. If I try to become a better person than yesterday, my students can feel that. And the life of me itself will be the powerful motivation for my students, I think. And also, I try to control my languages. I mean, I think the teacher's words have such a great influence on students. So I don't judge students and keep believe them. So, yeah, for the first time, I started with 2 students in my small room.
Yes.
It was like 3 years ago, like that. So a very small room. So now those 2 students have become 27 students now.
27 students. Wow.
Right. And we moved from the room to an apartment now. Mm-hmm. So I'm in here, and now we're ready to move out to the whole floor of a small building next month.
Fantastic.
That I want to say,
last time you had a wonderful statement.
Yeah, right. I remember. I want to say to Korean parents that we should respect our children as the way they are. Mm-hmm. We don't have to change them in the direction that we want, but they have their own personality and their own ability and their own, how can I say, potentials, right? So we should respect it and we should develop it, and we should don't let them do something, but hear them well and raise their self-esteem. So I think that's the most important thing for children. Yes, so let's not rush. Right? Don't judge them.
Yeah.
That's what I want to say.
Yes, not only to Korean parents, but to parents from all over the world.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Don't judge, but love your kids. Give them the possibilities.
Right.
I'm happy that we could have a second meeting and also discuss a little bit more about your new developments.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
You're very much welcome. It's so inspiring to see that in a short time, you are already having an academy up and running.
Yeah.
Can you share with us your journey towards starting this academy? I know there was a plan already when we discussed last time.
Yeah, well, okay, let me tell you the story. The journey started from when I was in middle school student. So my dream was to be a teacher since then, especially, to become a teacher in Africa countries.
Yes.
So I started to teach students right after graduation from high school as a private tutor. It was like a part-time job.
Yeah.
And luckily, I became a teacher of a private academy in the main education area in Korea right after my university.
I see. Yeah.
Yeah. So the area in Korean capital, Seoul, you know, the like Korean number one education area. It called Daechi. Daechi. So, and yeah, Daechi, the area. And after that, I became a teacher at a school for 3 years in the countryside of Korea. Like opposite, right? So after that, I went back to Africa, you know. I was in Tanzania as an exchange school student for a semester when I was in university. So I've missed that very much. So I went back to Africa and I did like volunteer work in Tanzania for 3 months. I think all my careers are related to education, right?
Yeah, and that's very important, I think.
Right. So after I came back to Korea from Tanzania, at that time I thought that I wanted to make my own brand of education with my own spirit.
I see.
Yeah, for the first time I started with 2 students in my small room.
Yes.
It was like 3 years ago, like that. So a very small room. So now those 2 students have become 27 students now.
27 students. Wow.
Right. And we moved from the room to an apartment now. So I'm in here and now we're ready to move out to the whole floor of a small building next month.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
how old are your children? What is the age range?
The range is so wide, you know, from elementary school student to high school students.
Oh, and what are you teaching them if they're so different?
Yeah. Actually, I teach like English and mathematics. And also if they ask about other subjects like science or like social study, then I just answer them and we share like about like some discussion, something like that. So yeah, it's like that. But I think I'm just still in the beginning of my journey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But 27 students is already very good. Very good amount of students. You are the only teacher, I think, in the school.
Oh yeah, I'm an only teacher, but you know, I have a designer who like makes the contents for my students, and also I have like an assistant.
Right. So 3 people.
And 3 of us.
Is it easy to start the school like that in Korea?
It's easy to start. Yeah, it's easy to start because, you know, I told you that I started from my small room, right? So anybody can start if they want.
Wow. And you need some registrations as well to keep the school like that or academy like that running.
Yeah, of course. I should register like, you know, the ministry, how can I say, education part of
definitely
that.
The Ministry of Education.
Yeah, right.
I see. And how long is the process, if I may ask? Because in some countries, the process can be very long than in other countries.
You know, the strength of Korea, the process is so fast. So I can just register it. I can like apply for the private tutor. Then they accept it really fast. So it takes just like in a week, I think. So I can teach them with like in my own like home or place. So here's my start. It's easy to start in my own place, but you know, I'm moving to a like commercial building next month. So it'll be more like complicated and difficult to apply because I should got some like examine for the like safety.
That's right.
Anything else. So yeah, but it's easy to start from really small business, you know.
Wow, fantastic.
Mm.
And how do you fund? What is the money issue? Do you get a grant from the Korean government, or do you have to charge tuition fee?
Actually, I told you that I worked in a private academy right after my university, and also I worked in school for 3 years, so I earned some money. I think that money was enough to start because I had my own room, a small room in an apartment. I lived with my parents at the time. So in my room, I just, abandoned my bed and my own desk. I just threw it away. And I bought round tables, which has like 4 chairs. So yeah, that was just I bought at the time. So I didn't spend much money for the start. So after that as I told you, I started to teach to students, and after that some students came more and more, so that's why I could earn money from that
That's
time.
Right. Yeah.
So I saved money. Like if I earn money, it's my rule like that. I just save my half of my wage. So yeah, that's why I make money. And also for this time, I think also it'll be not enough that I've gathered, I've earned. Yeah. So I need to I need a loan.
Yes, but is it so common that so the students are coming to your academy for free?
For
they
free?
Do not pay, they don't pay any fees.
I understood. Of course they pay.
Okay.
Because that's why I could earn money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
because I was thinking like that. If they don't pay any fees, then you have to really work hard to get the money to run the academy.
Right. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But in Korea, it's really common. Many students, they go to academy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I think to start, it's not easy, but the problem is maintaining and developing something like that, I think.
Yeah. But you're good in maintaining things. So I think that will be not a problem.
Yeah, I'm so lucky, I think.
Yes. And I think I wanted to ask as well, is it for the whole day or is it only for amount of hours per day?
Oh, the second. So I just teach students. So if I were a student, I study with me for 3 or 2 hours a day with me after school.
After school, okay. So it's an after school academy. But that's good.
Yeah, right. Mm-hmm.
That's very good. So it's a great support system also to parents who are busy and they cannot have their kids very soon.
Yeah,
so that's very good. Yeah. But someone might want to ask, why do you think this academy is a good thing to do? Or is it?
Yeah, the why. When I was in the academy that I told you that is located in the center of Korean education, I've realized that this education is not good for students. Korean education system is so comparative because all the students in Korea, they want to go to a good university. So they should prepare for the entry exam for many years from a very young age. But for most of them, it's one-way education. You know what I'm saying? So students should accept what the teachers say, and they are just focusing on their scores. However, I personally think education should consider the diversity of students. And I think we should teach them how to think and how to create their own things, and how can they make harmony with the people around them. So that's why I wanted to make a different education organization which has its own curriculum.
That's right. Oh, that's fantastic. So it's
Mm.
much more about improving the thinking of the students and also
Yeah,
creativity, because that's very,
More
very good.
important.
Very important for any.
Right.
You said something very important about the comparative education. I think it's not only in Korea, it's pretty much in many countries around the world. It could be in Tanzania too, that you try to study, so you go to a good university, and your job is to make sure that you answer correctly the questions, the examinations, and pass. Yeah, but thinking is very important for the future, and that's we are living the new era of our lives now. So we need creative people.
Yeah,
and we need to give the possibilities to think.
That's so true.
Hmm?
Right.
Yeah. So that's why you think this is important.
Right.
Hmm?
Definitely.
Yes. And I just wanted to hear a little bit more about your curriculum at the end of that 2 hours of when the students come to your academy. What type of the curriculum do you have about?
In our academy, we try to teach students through like stories with like when we teach about a new concept, and they can learn it with interesting activities. So, for example, when we learn about fractions, we don't just learn it, but we cut pizza together. And I ask some questions like the ways we share this pizza.
Okay.
If we want to share it with 8 people, how do you want to cut it? I ask like that. And also, what if we cut it with different size? How would you feel? Like, which has no answer that is set. So students can find their own answers. And they can imagine many things, right? Yeah, I teach like that. And for the special program, I also invite a person who has their own job every month for speech. And they share their experience and their life with my students, so that my students learn their job and especially their attitude and experience. So we have like already that curriculum.
Yeah.
Right.
Wow. So they already get some kind of the real life experience.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Wow. That's really fantastic. I mean, I'm sure your children are much more open-minded.
Oh, that's what I want.
Yeah. Do you have a competition in Korea of the same academies like yours?
Competition? You mean? You mean like the same way that I mean?
Other people are doing the same thing?
I think it's not, because, my directions, my goal is the opposite side of the common academies in Korea, because many of academies, almost 99.9% of academy, they should make their scores. But I think the scores is not all in their life, right? There are much more important things in their life and for their future. So I just don't want to focus on that scores or like comparative things, but I just want to let them know about the more important things. So that's my goal and my direction. So I think it's not that like, I don't have many opponents like that.
Yes. Do you think this is what people want in Korea at the moment? Is it for everybody?
You mean, yeah. Oh, that's a good question. I think it's not for all people. I know that, my academy and even me are not perfect for sure. So I can say that all people want this type. Mhm. And also, my academy is not a normal type, as I told you. So if the parents who just want their children to get good scores, my academy doesn't fit for them. But if the parents have same directions and goals with me and my academy, then it'll be so great for them and for their children, I think.
Yes. So this is a type of a new innovation in terms of teaching in Korea.
Oh, I hope that actually my next step and my next vision is like that. I want to make like a school which has own curriculum and which is like preparing for our country and our children's future, not just for like the entry of the university, but for our future. Because as you told me, the era has been changed, right? Yeah. So, but the program and the curriculum of like Korean education is just like so oldish. It hasn't changed. That's the problem, I think.
There's a long way to go.
Yeah, right. Long way to go. That's what I'm saying. So,
yeah. And I think it's an important thing also for children, because I can imagine if they spend a school day from morning until evening trying to think about the passing of the exam, it's easier for them to come to study in a different way, where they can also study through stories or then improve their creativity in a way. I think that's really important.
Right, for sure. That's important.
You started from a room, and now you want to go to a commercial building.
Right.
Yeah, in the normal situation, I think somebody will be a bit worried or scared because how can I manage the rent and this type of things?
Right.
How do you decide to make this type of risks?
Actually, I am not that like brave person. So sometimes I feel afraid and I don't want to take a step, but also I have some mind like if I just stay here, if I be settled, then I can't be improved. As you know, my vision is not that small, right? I want to build like my own school, and also I want to export to Africa. So I want to make like Africa and Korea will like develop in education part. So that's what I want for the future. So I think I should take the risk. And thankfully, I know about my vision and I know well about what should I do. It's so clear. And also about my priority. I know it so clearly. So that's why I don't be so much afraid about the like taking a risk, but I just do it for for the next step. Yeah, so I have both mind, which is scared and which is like brave. So, but I think I should do it for the next step. That's why I made the decision.
Yes, and if you had 27 students now, that means the parents are trusting you, and this academy is going to be much bigger as you go on. And that's what matters at the moment.
Right. I think I'm so lucky.
But you just keep on going. It's really really important.
Right.
Important
Thank you.
And you told me that you are interested about the Finnish education system as well. What is more interesting?
Because I've heard that Finland's education is the best education in the world, and they provide really good and advanced education for students. So I've watched some like documentaries about Finland educations. So I just want to learn and apply it for my the method of education. So I just wanted to know it.
Yes, I think it is actually very good. I would say I've seen different types of education systems from around the world. Mm-hmm. I am not an education system specialist for Finland, mm-hmm. but mm-hmm. I have operated in it for a little bit.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
that's
I think
good.
I think I should have an idea.
Wow.
I think the best that they have is in elementary education, and I'm a specialist on the higher education. But mm-hmm. In the elementary education, what makes it stand out is not necessarily anything different, but the fact that the teachers are really boosting the creativity of the students. And there is no this type of, as you just said, in Korea or in many other countries, of course, they have mm-hmm. this comparative education, like your university is better than mine. Of course, they are those. But let's say for elementary schools, the students will mm-hmm. do examinations, but mm-hmm. the results of the examinations are not expected to tell one school that you are bad than the other.
Oh.
Yes. But just to tell that school that you need, that this is how your situation mm-hmm. is, and mm-hmm. you need to improve in this and that area. So the school is improving on its own. Mm-hmm. And then I think another very unique thing that I haven't seen in so many countries than the Nordic countries, and especially in Finland, mm-hmm. is that there is a curriculum. Mm-hmm. But, when the teacher, let's say in your academy or let's say in a primary school, in one Korean school or the others, you can go to all these schools. They have the curriculum which they have to follow. Mm. How you decide, the curriculum is the same in all the institutions, but mm-hmm. how you teach it is on the hands of the teacher.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
So teacher's role is so important, right?
Teacher's role is very important. Mm-hmm. And the education of the teachers in this country is very important. So not everybody can be a teacher.
I see.
Yeah, you just don't have to go to a teaching school to be a teacher. You have to have a master's degree, and also you have to have a pedagogical education for mm-hmm. a school that you are planning to teach. Mm-hmm. That's very important in a way in order to cope to the needs of the growing children and students in general, but mm-hmm. also maintaining the level of quality as you operate. So also elementary schools here in Finland are very flexible, I would say. I haven't seen this in many countries.
Oh,
you can already see them utilizing the IT tools in learning. You can already see them studying through excursions. The real life knowledge is really, really important. And a classroom is a combination of so many things. Mm-hmm. So I think your direction is really towards that. If you speak about fraction, you put a pizza on the table and cut a pizza. So I think in Finland, they have created so many tools to teach the students. And I also, as a parent, I also noticed that every child in Finnish education system has been evaluated they don't maybe market this, but I'm a foreign parent here. So I see the difference quite clearly. So they know who needs more support, who can handle on his own or her own, and who should, for example, be given the after school support in terms of learning.
I got it.
Or then who needs more time in examination.
That's
really rarely opportunity because, and this is up to the university. I have seen the university students given more time in the examination because they have this and that challenge. And all this really helps the students to learn and to understand things. In Finland, they actually, this is what I would say in a nutshell, they actually learn through understanding and not learning the texts. Right. In here, there is a lot of emphasis on understanding the real concept. So a class 1 or class 2 student can explain to you some of the things that you're wondering. How did you know about that? And they're confidently telling you how everything happens because they are learning through practice quite a lot.
Got it.
And I think the practice-based learning helps a lot in improving the understanding of the children. Right. Yes.
Practice is so important.
Maybe you saw the documentary where the Finnish, I think, I don't remember in which parts of Finland, but there was a Finnish school where this child was in a classroom, but then she wanted to go to the school cafeteria to help selling things. So they can do that also in some of the schools, depending to what the teacher offers. And then you are doing it very well that you welcome someone from the working life to come and speak to your academy. Because in here, I can't remember in which level of their school, maybe already in a secondary school, maybe in year 7. I can't remember about the actualities, but the students will spend a week into a company and company or organization of their interest. So if this is a person who would like to sell things, can go to the shop. If this is a person who would like education, can go to the university. And if this is a person who likes, let's say, travel and tours, can go to the tour agency or travel market institutions. Just to sit there for one week, they will help out with the work, like printing papers or bringing this and that here and there. But then see how people work and develop interest of their future possibilities. So that is really, I think that's really a good thing because, many times you don't see this in many countries. And that affects a lot because you are learning to become a professional, but you don't know how the professional world works.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's right.
So I think this is what makes the education system stands out. I think there are many other education systems out there in the world. But when I see people asking about the Finnish education system, I think it's on the flexibility and the practice-based. Yes, it's very flexible. And this flexibility is what allows teachers to help each student individually. Because I'll come to one student, I know that, this student maybe is a slow learning student. So I need to use these tools to get this student understand. Or maybe this student is a fast learner. So we need to use these tools to get this student work better. Or maybe these students. And in many places here or many schools here, you can also figure out students with learning disabilities with everybody else in the same class. They're studying together. And it works just well. So the system has been supported. But I think the biggest of all is that the education here is publicly supported.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody is running after money.
Oh, I see.
And the moment you start running after money, there can be a lot of variation in education system. Mm-hmm. But the government is supporting all the, for example, elementary schools and higher education institutions as well in here. Mm-hmm. And that gives it a possibility to monitor and improve.
Oh.
Yeah. And you cannot hear so much about, we want this and that accreditation, international accreditation. Mm-hmm. They believe on a Finnish accreditation. They're very confident, and that's what works for them. And I think this is really unique in many places.
It is.
Yeah. What type of inspirations your academy is bringing to the children? That would be good to hear.
Yeah. I think the inspirations, the most important thing is keeping promises and being grateful. Actually, this sentence, keeping promises and being grateful, this is the motto of my academy. I think a teacher should be a good model for their students. I'm not saying that I should be perfect, but at least I have to develop myself continuously. If I try to become a better person than yesterday, my students can feel that. And the life of me itself will be the powerful motivation for my students, I think. And also, I try to control my languages. I mean, I think the teacher's words have such a great influence on students. So I don't judge students and keep believe them with my heart. I think the memories that I was loved by someone, that is really important thing for young age students. It can make their self-esteem, right? So
yes,
I think that self-esteem is much more important than the scores. So I never say bad things about their scores or their abilities, but for their attitude problems, I just let them know when they did wrong. Yeah, that's the difference, right? So
yes,
I think,
definitely.
my students know well that I love them so much. They know it. And
that's important.
It makes a really strong and good relationship among us. So I think that's the good inspirations in for the students, right?
Yes. And I think that's really, really important, because if the student is not feeling loved, then there will be a little bit of laid back or uncomfortability from a student and the parents as well.
You're right. That's so true.
Are you planning to become a bigger school than 27 children?
Yeah, that's what I want. So that's why I'm moving out.
Yes. So we're very much looking for. What's the name of your academy?
My academy, the name is Build Academy. Build Academy. Build. So it means.
It's in English, or it's in Korean?
In English. It's in North Korea. Because also I teach English for my students. So that's why I named Build in English.
Okay. Wow. Build Academy.
Right.
So, wow. But if you have 27, this academy didn't start a long time ago, right?
Right.
And you already have 27 kids. That means you're going to have even more very soon.
Oh, thank God.
Yes,
thank you so much.
I'm sure.
Thank you so much.
It's growing faster. I think many Korean parents have seen that this is a needed type of education, and they would like to appraise it. And of course, since the parents decide, it's much easier. So I'm very sure that the Build Academy is going to be a very big school very soon, and we look
You're
forward
too
to
kind. Thank you. Let me do my best.
Yes. What would you want to tell anybody who is thinking about starting an academy like this?
I just want to say, start from the much you can, because like I don't know about the other countries' situation, but in Korea we can start like as a private tutor. It's so easy to start, as I told you. So maybe
as long as you have, of course, teachers graduation, right? Or anybody can.
Anybody can do it.
Oh,
anybody, even they don't have like a license for a teacher, but they can do it as a private tutor.
Oh, I see. Wow. Interesting.
Yeah. So in Korea, it's so common to like let the children to go to the academy. It's not in Finland, right?
We have, there are some evening, how does it translate? They're called iltakerhot, like the evening groups.
Oh, I see.
Many times those are the groups where the children will go while their parents are coming back from work to pick them up. But some of them can also be the groups where they are going to study one more skill. If they, for example, the foreign background kids who don't speak better Finnish, they have an additional group to go and learn better Finnish. But then sometimes it could be someone wanting to improve mathematics. So, this type of additional schooling is available. And it's also governmentally regulated. So mostly they are funded by the government in different cities. Sometimes you can find private people, but it's not as much in India.
Oh, I see. That's interesting. In Korea, almost students, they go to academy after school for developing their scores. So, the power of public school is not that strong. Yeah. So because all the students, they go to academy and they learn more and they try to learn faster and faster. So I think that's the problem. For elementary school students, they just learn about like middle school things and high school things. And parents think that is so proud thing. So they feel proud of their children about the scores and the like, how can I say, the like level of them is so comparative.
Very comparative. Yes.
Right.
Wow. Yeah. But of course, different education systems, different countries, and some of the things are difficult to change, but they will change with time, I'm sure. But Korea is still doing well in some things. So I think it's not that backwards.
Right, you're right.
Yes, great. This is fantastic. I thank you very much for coming here and sharing your story. I think your title will be From a Bedroom to an Academy.
Right.
An interesting story. I believe this will be very inspiring for many people. And it's a motivation, I think. It's a unique experience, especially for the people who are coming from countries where the education is not very much of a high quality. Why not building a Build Academy that could support this type of needs?
I hope so.
Yeah.
It was my pleasure to share about my education. Because
Definitely.
I feel so exciting whenever I try to say I say about education things.
Yeah. Do you have anything else that you would like to say so that we can close before we close our conversation?
I want to say to Korean parents that we should respect our children as the way as the way they are. We don't have to change them in the direction that we want, but they have their own personality and their own ability and their own, how can I say, potentials, right? So we should respect it and we should develop it, and we should don't let them do something, but hear them well and raise their self-esteem. So I think that's the most important thing for children. Yes, so let's not rush. Don't judge them.
Yeah.
That's what I want to say.
Yes, not only to Korean parents, but to parents from all over the world. Yes. Don't judge, but love your kids. Give them the possibilities.
Right.